Welcome to Overwatch and welcome to Coaching the Many, and there's actually like a couple of things to talk about before we begin. First and foremost, you'll notice in the background that this doesn't look like actual normal gameplay. Well, let's like Twitch chat is here saying hello to YouTube. Say hello back to Twitch chat YouTube. It's nice that you have this long distance, slightly antagonistic relationship between each other. Actually, it's a little bit disheartening to see. Hopefully we can all just get along in one glorious, harmonious e-media society. But I'll slide these guys over because this guy actually wanted to include this, which is apparently how he does his warm-up. And he wanted to sort of just to show me how he did his warm-up. I mean, this guy who we're going to be watching, we're going to actually be watching two Genji games. His mechanics are pretty solid. I have no idea what his sexual orientation is, and it has no real bearing on his Overwatch ability. But he wanted to show his warm-up. You can see his mechanics in terms of just like executing the combos is actually relatively clean. He's very, very quick on sort of getting a right-click dash, very quick on getting the melee kills. And I noticed it when watching this guy play is that his sort of ability to deal damage and get kills is pretty solid. The one thing I will say is like with a warm-up like this, it's good for just getting those combos better. But just going into a game of quick play, I imagine will also help a lot. And doing this against actual people that are harder to predict and actually moving, and also don't have heads that are 3 miles wide. Like an Ana compared to a training bot is completely different. So going into quick play, in my mind, is always going to be a slightly better way of actually getting a functional warm-up if you are going to warm up playing Genji. Okay. Yeah, the frame rate on the video is a little bit low. The second video is a little bit higher quality, but it's just good enough to watch. Don't worry about that. Okay, we'll skip forward. Whoop, whoop. So, in the email, let me get the email out. He included a lot of text as part of why I picked it out, because he included a whole bunch of things. First and foremost, he said that this is his second account. Technically, he's a Diamond player. This game is about 2.5, 2.6k, but on his main he's Diamond player, but I don't think he's... Yeah, this account, my main account is only 2 games off Diamond, and I only play Ana 76 Rhine, so he's basically got the second account to play heroes that he doesn't normally play on, and one of those is Genji, so it's kind of works out fine in my opinion. It's about where he is normally. But this game is an interesting one, and part of the reason why we're doing 2 games today is this game is actually very interesting to watch because it goes really heavily one way and then it'll swing back really heavily the other way. And we could talk about the reasons why that happens and what's going on. First and foremost though, let's go over some of the basics of Genji while I have a quick slurp of coffee. This should be very hot coffee. Oh boy. Actually, even before we leave the spawn door, like, we should be having a plan, which is the big thing. And who's being coached? This man named Feelings Hurt. I don't think this guy's actually a sub. No, he's not. We will be doing a sub later, though. Spoiler. But we're doing this guy first. And first things first is you should take a look at your team lineup and decide what pathway you're going. The thing with Nepal as well, when playing Genji, is there are a lot of the first engagements where the deflect can actually be absolutely pivotal. This is more true for Village, but it is partially true for Sanctum as well, where if you step out and catch the fire strike the enemy Reinhardt throws, and if you have a Reinhardt and he throws a fire strike, you can effectively like kill their entire team. It's actually kind of ridiculous. So yeah, thinking about your initial pathways is important. The one thing that's sort of jumping out at me, I forgot to open up Epic Pen. It's annoying. Go back to my face for a second while I open up Epic Pen. Because I want to get out of the habit of showing everyone my start menu. Feels like a bad idea for some reason. There we go. Coach. I wanted to roll over D.Va. So we have a D.Va, right? That's actually going to be an annoyance for us more than a help because she's going to catch a lot of projectiles too. So we have to think slightly about what the D.Va's going to be doing if we want to get any value out of the deflect. Also, we're going to have to be thinking about the direction we're going. We don't have a Lucio. So that speaks to me in saying we want to go to the left side here, and the team does go to the left side. If you don't have the Lucio, it's much harder to get position over here. It also means that we can start engaging up here. They do have a Lucio, and you can hear him. He's over right next to us. Can I get rid of... I don't want this... There we go. This is a free kill. I don't know what this man is doing. This man thinks he's DSP Stanky. I was just watching this, and I was just like, wait, is that their Lucio? What? He's trying to get a boop, I guess, but doesn't he realize that he's A, incredibly loud, and B, is just going to die? Okay, so, now that Reddit Stanky's dead, Steve on the enemy team is gone. We can actually start being aggressive now. We can actually start playing around. And also, one big thing I'll say when you're playing Genji at the start of the game is you're thinking about what you're seeing on the enemy team lineup, and this moment especially is quite important. When you're you get a moment to check what they've got. We know they have a Lucio, we know they have a Rodok because he just killed us, we know they have an enemy Genji. During this first death is when I will be starting to make plans, because Genji is very built on having some goals in mind about what you're trying to do. And I'm looking at like all the enemy team lineup and thinking, well, what are these matchups like for me if I go up against them one-on-one? Anna's annoying as hell, effective 300 hit points. Got to be hard to remove, potentially it can backfire. Roadhog, this is an ult battery, so that's all I'm thinking about with him. I can deflect, if I deflect his hook, I can build up an ultimate off him really quickly. This is also annoying, but possible to deal with, maybe a little bit of help. This could be a focus target every now and then. Once a barrier is down, we can start putting pressure on that. This is deflect bait. Reapers are really bad at dealing with deflect. It's just something in the there's something in the psychology of a Reaper plan. I think it's due to how deflect like sounds and looks, but when a Reaper shoots a shotgun into a deflect, he sometimes really underestimates how much damage he takes. And this is something that I've noticed playing Reaper and playing against Reapers. Reapers will shoot it into deflect and then not realize that they've just lost like 150 health or something. Reapers are really easy to deflect. It's also just like if he ults, we can just cancel it. We have a lot of tools to deal with the Reaper. Of course, if our deflect is down, then we just have to get away from him. He's actually pretty easy for us to play around. And then we have their Genji as well, who we should be trying to clean up when possible. We have our Winston, who we absolutely should be playing heavily with. We have our Anna, which we should be supporting and should be getting supported by when possible. And then the rest of this is basically, can we clean up off the back? This is our main source of DPS that will be dealing reliable damage. So once people start getting low, we need to be swinging in and finishing off on the Genji. Like, these are the plans that I'm coming up with after this initial engagement. Now that we've died, our team seems to be doing okay on the point. They've managed to get on there, but they have to be a little bit worried. Otherwise, we're not sticking where and watching the kill cam. We don't need to see Rodol kill us. That's good, 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 good. That's approximately one of Stanky's favorite response, but he doesn't do it that early. Exactly. You don't run ahead of the entire team like that as Lucio and expect to survive. It's a free kill. And Stanky also generally goes extremely high and tries to be stealthy. Otherwise, we should be ignoring that Genji. Like, what are we going to do to him? We can maybe get a shuriken on him, but we should be here helping with the team, helping with the deflect. They get a really, really early Dragon Blade, so I guess that Genji did well, but the Anna just comes in like a fucking legend and gets to sleep. We should absolutely be looking for things to do. Here, we can just go in support of the Winston. This is perfect play. This is fine. And this is the one thing I will point out throughout this is, like, this Lucio moves well, by the way. Like, that was really slick. Boop, boop, boop. Gone. And we couldn't stay on him. But Genji Winston is an incredibly strong combo. Why is it an incredibly strong combo? Because the Winston is doing consistent damage, which is something that Genji struggles doing. By the way, we're not actually being, especially now that we're out of sight, we're not being helpful just running even further out of the line of sight. Because you're forcing the Anna to turn 180, and that's a pain in the ass for the Anna, who wants to also be keeping an eye out on this and also be pushing out this way to probably help someone over here. Anyway, so Winston's doing all this consistent damage, right? He's hurting people, he's getting them lower, 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 lower. That sets us up for a very easy finishing blow, or we get people low and then he just finishes them off. And so he also gives us a bit of tankiness with the bubble, so it increases how long we can stay in and do all that kind of good stuff. He gives us a lot of extra options and a lot of extra power. Working with Winstons is incredibly important if you're going to be playing Genji. The same is true if you're going to be working with a Tracer. Tracer does similar things with that consistent damage. Don't know why we woke that Zarya up when there was a Lucio. Like, we spot the Zarya, but honestly, we can leave this for now with the purple Lucio on the point. If we and Winston both go for this Lucio, what's he going to do? He can't heal himself anymore. We only have to, and Winston's going to be just shelling away at him. Anna's going to be shelling away at him. By waking up the Zarya, you've given that guy an out because he can get bubbled. Something could happen now. I like the deflect. I like trying to go for the deflect. It's a bit of a shame the Diva didn't drop the defense matrix for a second, but she's playing a bit safe. This Dragon Blade was unfortunate. So it's a little bit desperate because we're not doing it with sort of a great big plan in mind. But it is unfortunate because the enemy team basically responds ridiculously hard. So we Dragon Blade, Zarya grabs, we get out of it, we get the Anna, which is good. And then now we're just trying to sort of bounce back because they are going in with Nana Boost, Death Blossom, cleaning up their entire team. There's not much we can do. I understand the theory of that Dragon Blade. Should it have been used is like the big question I had when I was watching this. The one thing I will say is that we don't check even for a second whether Anna has nano boost. Like, that's always a bit of an alarm to me, is that we should be trying to link up with the Ana, because Ana builds it pretty quick, and especially if you've got like a Winston and a Diva, that's actually really easy to build off. Like, they have it, so we might as well. So if we could probably work with the Ana a little bit more. I mean, Zarya also managed to get a Graviton as well. Still, we're okay. Like, the team did a good job there of not throwing away any extra resources, because you notice we have 4 ultimates, so yeah, we're feeling pretty good. So the reason why we took that was probably just to try and force the win and force the snowball even harder, but hey. Genji, can I DPS? I don't understand why people do this. Okay, guys, I will say this much, okay? Don't do this in the middle of a game. When you are winning. Winning quite dramatically, actually. Don't do this. Even if the Genji might not be the huge contributing factor right now, all this does is it puts doubt into the Genji's mind, and you're in the middle of a match, you're still already winning. You don't need to change things up just yet. They fired off a shitload of ultimates. It's a bit of a shame that that kill happened, but hey. Oh, hello, Reaper. Good kill. We get a little bit lucky in that, like, the Reaper sort of messes up his shots here. Because this could have gone very badly at this point here. So we get quite lucky. And it does sort of start pointing to one problem I saw with this Genji's play, which is he plays very, very alone in a lot of stuff he's doing. So we're trying to get stuff done on our own, we're trying to push in. And you notice that we killed the Reaper because the Reaper basically failed at killing us. But the big flaw in our positioning is that we aren't really operating with the team. We're just sort of picking stuff up in the sidelines and occasionally diving in and getting them. We can occasionally get people like that Ana who's too distracted to do anything about us, and the enemy team doesn't respond to us. But meanwhile, our team is also struggling and trying to do things, and we're not really playing with the team, we're sort of playing alongside the team. And it works out for now, but that's the big problem that we'll start seeing coming up more and more and more, is when the enemy team starts playing properly, we start running into these huge issues where it just feels like we're doing absolutely nothing. We'll just keep going ahead, because we've got 2 games to go through, so I'll try and get through this one moderate quickly. I like the fact that we're trying to cover the Ana, but we mess up in covering the Ana. If you're trying to cover this Ana, don't just stand next to her, because this is what happens. Okay, you just both end up getting hit by the anti-hit grenade. If you stood there with a deflect in front of her, you might have been able to protect her. But otherwise, no. You should definitely be thinking about our Dragon Blade. Targeting our sights, we've got a plan. Just get rid of the Ana. Send Roadhog on a trip. Feels good, man. Pick up some kills. Mercy picks everyone up on point. This round was pretty easy, and it was their team just not playing well, in my mind. Their Lucio sort of messed up incredibly early. McCree was doing a good job shutting down their Roadhog and their Lucio for doing stuff. And then we could just sort of piss around on the sidelines. And this round, spoiler, will go extremely one-sidedly. So we're pretty much just going to let it run, because the enemy team respond pretty badly. The one thing I will say is when we're coming out of here, break this barrier, but then don't be afraid to just keep your eye on pushing this way, because again, getting that deflect through here is so important. When it works, it just wins games. Otherwise, now we could just follow our team. We should be trying to keep an eye on where Winston's going, because if Winston's on the target, again, that's an easy kill for us. That Genji could just skip away, so that's fine. Again, we could just put a lot of pressure on. This Ana is our kill target. Goes down. That's good, man. We can keep this Reinhardt uncomfortable. Just keep an eye on that Reaper as well. Good finish on that. Reaper gets cleaned up. And this is sort of a team fight style, basically, but this is what we want to be doing in this early stage in the game. Like, there's no point of us breaking away and flanking, splitting the team into a 5. Like, their Genji went off and flanked, we just stuck with the team, and you notice which one's more effective. Because I think their Genji's going around the side, but we just followed the Winston in. I think someone else got a hit on the Ana. Diva also went on the Ana, and we just dived the Ana, and we got the kill. And then we could just start snowballing. The Reinhardt's incredibly uncomfortable, has nothing to protect. The Reaper's running in, but McCree's there to catch him. And then we just snowball this fight out of control. But now's when we want to start exploiting our movement and start being a bit active. And this is one habit I noticed, is when we start playing extremely passive. It's fine when you can sort of see people over here and we can start spamming a little bit, but there's no harm as Genji in sort of bouncing over one side, just seeing what you can throw over here, bouncing back this way, just being mobile and being flexible. And now that we've taken some damage, like, I don't understand why we're still up here, by the way. Like, this is one thing I noticed, is we took some damage, So Lucia comes out, we take the damage. Why not just drop down here and go to your team and just get back to full health instead of staying up here where no one can actually heal us, no one can help us, and then we have to enter a fight with almost a quarter less health than we actually could start with. And because we've lost some health, I think we're still a little bit timid and a little bit scared to actually do something. We luck out because the Ana just tries to get away from the D.Va bomb in like the stupidest way possible by jumping into our team and dying. So she basically donates us a free kill. And then we can just go and confirm that, and then their team is just so fractured and shattered that they can't do anything anymore. Because they've lost the main healer, they've lost their second support because they all split up, and then the tanks sort of come in next, and then the Reaper comes in, and they're all just trickling in one by one by one by one. So this is their team more screwing up, and now we can just follow these targets around. Like the Ana trickles out, we can easily punish this, especially with the Winston and the McCree. Trickling, 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 trickling. Easy punish. And then we just want to be keeping an eye on what they're doing. And like, if this Winston's going aggressive, we should honestly be thinking about just poking down a little bit and seeing if we can help him with this. Like, they have a couple of people dead. We can afford... Like, if we were Soldier 76, I would say absolutely stay up here. Okay? And the reason why I'd say stay up here is because Soldier 76 can't just bounce back up here as easy as pie. But because we can go up and down, we can exploit that mobility, and we can be active in doing things. This Winston is trying to be active in punishing some mistakes. We're lucky in that the Reinhardt charges through, but we're still not reacting to this. Like, why aren't we involved? The Reinhardt's just overextended himself. We could be involved in just punishing that. They have two people over here isolated, and we've just taken so long in getting down here and confirming this kill here. Now, sort of just one thing that I noticed with this player is that it's just extremely passive and extremely hesitant to try and do things and create space and create action on the map. But you can do that as Genji. You have that liberty. You have 2 get out of jail free cards down here. You have the ability to wall climb. You can do a lot. And I'm not saying like dive in there and Dragon Blade and go absolutely nuts on their team, but just jumping down, firing a couple of shuriken through. If Winston gets someone low, then we can act on it. We can just keep the snowball going because it's absolutely snowballing. And then when the Reinhardt charges over here, I don't understand why we just didn't commit to this. Because we've been watching this gate for the last 10 seconds. And we can see no one's gone through it, 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 no one's through it, no one's through it. Reinhardt's gone through it on his own. There's a bubble there cutting off their team as well, even if an Ana was over here trying to support him. He's completely cut off and isolated. That, to me, is a dead Reinhardt instantly that we should be acting on. There's a Sombra somewhere, apparently. And it doesn't actually get acted upon, but it's just, again, it just felt a little bit slow. That was an unfortunate, by the way, yeah, that was just an unfortunate instance of firing at the same time as a sleep dart happens. Feels bad, man, but it's not that big of a deal. Deflect blocks Dragon Blade, which I learned only recently, because I played in an era when it didn't. So it took me ages to relearn the fact that, hey, it actually does block that. Okay, last fight coming up. We shouldn't be too worried about using Dragon Blade here, especially when this Maze used their ice block, or just get on the Ana. Get the melee kill, Dragon Blade. For the finish, don't even need it. Blow Mercy. There we go, that'll do. And as I said, this map was a stomp, so there's not too much to really talk about in this one. But things start going wrong. Why do things start going wrong? Well, we're going to see why very soon. It's going to be sort of a reflection of what I was talking about. So I have the advantage of seeing this entire game. So we're on Shrine. And we're going on the flank. We're going around the outside. We're going around the houses. And we're going to peek in. Winston has already dived. This is Winston. Pretty goddamn confident this is the Winston. He's already in the enemy team. We're still coming round. Luckily, Winston's taken up position, but still, like, Winston is getting pressured, and we're just picking at the sideline. We're trying to just sort of get some poke damage from over here. Meanwhile, D.Va's almost dead. And sure, we have some juicy targets, and we're doing some good damage here. We get some good shots on the sideline. We're trying to set up a dash across this Reaper. There we go, we get the dash. Now we can dash across the rest of the team, and maybe start snowballing this. But it took us so long to start doing that the rest of the team is now had to pull back and heal up. That could have gone much worse if the enemy team managed to get a pick or two. If the Roadhog just went off and got a good hook, that could have gone way worse. And spoiler alert, it will. Just these little hesitations and this little bit of reluctance to actually just go in when there's some risk is going to start causing us issues. Now, this fight went fine. And say this fight went okay. But again, it only took one Roadhog hook on either of the tanks, and I think that fight would have gone much, much worse. Just waste a dash. Apparently he's up here. I think he's even going to appear on screen. So he's doing scouting. Again, honestly, we could probably be a little bit more aggressive with our scouting. And like, we can see them coming out here now. So we can stay, we can just poke out here, we can just keep an eye out, bounce back and forth, no problem. We definitely want to be moving towards where the fight's about to happen. So yeah, we definitely want to be going this way a little bit earlier. Now we're actually a little bit worried because Winston's used his barrier. So now we're actually fine being up here. This Dragon Blade, I'm not so keen on. Like, there's no reason to use this just yet. And I think we could have got better results just holding on to it. Like, we don't need this Dragon Blade to get any of these kills. They're all pretty spread out. And sure, there's like no risk in it, but there's no need to use it yet. They're not really threatening anything, they're not really doing anything, and we're not punishing anything. So we get a kill on the Ana. And I think we pressure the Reaper enough for him to get killed. But we use a big resource in doing so. They use nothing. They should be dying faster than this, by the way. And when I was watching this video, I was just like, what? Why have you sent this into coaching the many? Why has this been sent in? Have you just, are you one of these people that sent in for coaching, watch me stomp these guys? Thinking emoji. And even seeing the flaws, it's like, it's very clear that the enemy team is having an issue. When you're noticing this long reset over here, Rolo almost gets a kill. Okay, we should definitely be focusing on this Zenyatta. Zenyatta trances, kills Badman, D.Va gets a double kill, and I'm just watching this going, like, what is there to coach in this? Why has this been sent in? Now, we've almost built another Dragon Blade. This has been so one-sided. So let's see. And just... Because, guys, spoiler alert, there's still about half this VOD left to go. So they push in. We've got nano-boosted D.Va versus nano-boosted Rolo. At least the sleep dart goes through. By the way, oh, I just saw something so tilting. I didn't even notice this. Don't do this. So the D.Va blocked the Roadhog, Sleep Dart goes through. And then it looks like D.Va turns around to start shooting the Roadhog. If you are nano boosted and the enemy team has a nano boosted target, it is very rare, especially if it's a nano boosted tank, that you should be focusing that target as the nano booster, as like the nano boosted person on your team. Because if you think about like what the nano boost is doing, okay, let's get a better color for this. This D.Va is incredibly powerful right now. I mean, she's moderately powerful. She's a D.Va. She can only do so much, but still, she's relatively strong. This Roadhog, extremely strong. Can one-shot people pretty reliably if he lands a shot anywhere near them. So, what don't we want to happen? Well, if these two just smack into each other, the net result of the nano boost on either team is 0. Okay? If they're fighting each other, it's 0. If this Roadhog just rampages out of control and goes killing people, then his net worth is pretty high. So if this wasn't slept and we just defense matrixed him, feels good, man. But, if he slept and we just turn around and start shooting other people, we might get a kill or two. And suddenly the net worth of this gets so much higher, rather than just wasting it all trying to fight a nano-boosted tank that isn't going to die anyway, because he's getting healed and shielded and all that stuff. So we're positioning very clearly for our Dragon Blade. The one thing I'd say we're not considering well is like where our Ana is, and it looks like we're just going to give the fight up. Like, we just completely seeded that fight. And part of why we seeded that fight is because we just weren't getting involved. Like, we're just backing away from the fight. And honestly, at this position, we killed their Zenyatta, their nano boost got wasted. We could have gone in, like, the Zarya has no barrier. Ana's got no grenade. We could have gone in, we could have chased after this Ana. Nothing stopping us. I'm going to chase after the Reaper a little bit. Our Ana's still providing healing. Instead, we just back away. And we're not being active. We're not doing stuff. We just died. Like, this is a death. There's no difference between what we just did and just leaving. We're not building ultimate charge, because we already got one. So we just sort of wussed out and backed away. And just said, yeah, no, I'm not going to do anything this fight. And we just decided to not do anything. Which is, I understand the psychology of it, because it's the safe move. But honestly, in an ideal world, in my mind here, is you just try and make something of this and you don't use Dragon Blade. And that sounds weird, but it's like, you know, we are 93 to 0. The 0 doesn't show up very well, so let me draw it in. 0% is up here. So they are really on the back foot. We've used one ult, they've used one ult. If we go in, start creating pressure on this Ana, the Zarya might use an ult. The Roadhog might, the Roadhog uses an ult as well. The Reaper might use an ult. If we start creating pressure and forcing them to do things, then we can start getting them to use resources. Instead, we just run away. And we just back away. There's nothing stopping us trying to kill this Ana. And you might say, well, surely you might just be giving her some ult charge. But this D.Va's giving them plenty of ult charge. If they haven't used them, they probably got them by now anyway. So chances are they have Death Blossom at the very least available. They've got Graviton, because I don't think I've seen one so far. That's going to be available. They won't have Whole Hog. They won't have Nano. They might not have Transcendence if they still have the Zenyatta. Just because he used it a little bit earlier. So those might be a couple of resources they don't have available. But now you're going into the next fight and they have resources. Because we didn't force them to do anything. We just sort of rolled over. Winston dives in. He's diving into, and you got to remember, this Winston is diving in. This Winston has a very short period of time he can dive. Because Zenyatta is here, Reaper is here, Roadhog is here, Zarya is here. And he's not going to last. So when Winston dives, we have to be doing something with that. We use the distraction, we go in. We swing, Zarya fires off a grab. We get knocked into it. There's the Death Blossom. Everyone dies. Res comes in. Okay, feels good, man. We've got some opportunities to do something here. We did use a lot of resources in that, but so did they, so we're kind of even up. Then McCree comes in from the back. We get flashed. We get killed. They win the team fight. And to me, this team fight was lost, not in like this actual team fight, but it was lost in the previous team fight where we just let them take the point for nothing. For absolutely nothing. They got it for peanuts. And so they can use all these resources, smash us, and then still be so well positioned on the rebound, where they just kill us. Because their team is so much better at these sort of brawls on the point than we will ever be. We have to be fast, aggressive, diving, getting very punishing kills. You know, we have Genji, we have Winston, we have D.Va, we can get in very quickly, we have McCree for just some quick burst on something, and then we have Mercy and Ana to pump healing into the Winston if necessary. But their team, like, look how good these guys are at just brawling. They want to brawl, they want to just fight and fight and fight and fight and fight and fight and fight, and that's what just happened. And we got dragged into that fight because they had ultimate advantage when they shouldn't have. And so it's this passive play that was sort of just ringing alarm bells to me of like, we're not doing things actively. We're not creating problems. It's like we're only going in when we know we can confirm a kill. Which is partially correct, but we're missing like 50% of our play in that we should be doing more. Winston goes in, and we're just sat wasting, and you look how low he is. That was our engage. Well, we spent so long asking for healing that we couldn't follow it in. Because we peeked the McCree. And then honestly, what's stopping us just going, like, tell you what will be faster than actually just going out here and nagging for healing, by the way. He's dropping down, going over here, picking up the health pack, and then you can come back out. If McCree challenges you for it, you've got a flashbang, you've got a dash, you can get out of that pretty easily. We can go and take care of ourselves. The Winston is like the priority for the healers here. And you can see he instantly dies regardless. And then suddenly we're scared to do anything because we're not being self-sufficient in this. We're just sort of waiting for our chance to dash in and get a kill, and then we get nervous, we can't do anything, and trying to think if I should swap. The honest answer to this question is yes, but partially it's like the playstyle is wrong for the team lineup. You know what I mean? Like, this team lineup isn't perfect. It's sort of half of one, and it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. Which is basically, you got dive, this to me is dive, 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 partial dive, I guess. Koreans like D.Va a lot, unsurprising. Then you got like McCree and Mercy kind of awkwardly in there. Like, if you swap one of these for Lucio, you swap Mercy for Lucio, you probably see some better results. Lucio or Zenyatta, maybe even. And you swap McCree for Tracer. McCree, I think, can work okay. Or Soldier, maybe for the longer range and just more healing. Might work a little bit better. But we're just, like, we're not doing anything anymore. And that's partially just our own fear to engage and our own hesitation to engage. Again, Winston dives in, we're still getting into position. Like, we should be looking for these opportunities. I think Ana even nano boosted the Winston because he's just been dying so fast that he gets the nano boost as a result. And then our team is having so much trouble engaging that it's just... Ugh. And this is where coordination plays a huge role when you're playing Genji, and... It was astounding to watch like the coordination just fail so utterly, because the Winston... Again, it was partially on Winston for just engaging this early. He should let the D.Va cover him on his way in, and then he should be diving further into the back, and we should be in position. And I think he's nano boosted there as well, which is just, don't nano boost. Well, don't ult as Winston if you're nano boosted, or don't ult and nano boosting Winston. Either one works. You also notice that we are never in a position, by the way, as well, with the way that we're flanking, to challenge Graviton Surges, to challenge Deadeyes, to challenge any of those engages. And let me just posit this to you, okay? What's stopping us running up the middle with the team? They're shooting at Winston. Winston's putting a barrier down. D.Va's blocking a lot of damage on the entry. And they get a free grab because once the Zarya gets past the D.Va for a split second, she can just dump it. And we're not in any position to challenge that kind of stuff. And with this playstyle of just coming in from the sides and like wait for the initial damage to come in, then come in from the sides and clean up, we aren't creating opportunities for ourselves to do things. Very, very rarely do we actually go out and hunt someone down proactively. We did a little bit earlier with the Reaper, for example. We were a little bit proactive there, but it was more like we just bumped into the Reaper who just happened to be on the flank, and then we killed him. And we're not doing stuff like that enough. We're not creating these opportunities or doing the damage that we need to on the way in. We're just waiting for damage to be done and then cleaning up. Genji's great at cleaning up, but we could be doing more. Okay, it's time to bring it back. We've got a soldier instead of the McCree.
Ana, we all thought you were dead. Why didn't you tell me?
Why didn't you tell me? I love that. I love that Ana just tells him, fuck off. I love that Ana does that. Okay. Again. Take high ground, look for the deflect. Biggest piece of advice I'll give anyone playing Genji on this map. You can get such an early advantage if you get a good deflect here. Try and get ahead of the D.Va. Try and avoid like the D.Va catching all your shots. If you're playing D.Va, let the Genji do his job. But this is better, like we're actually hunting, and then we sort of stop hunting. But we want to be looking for angles where we can just poke and do some damage. Their team's already being proactive. Their team's got a kill. And like we're retreating, like during all this point here, we're dead. We're not doing anything. And then we just come around here, we poke once, we see all these people, and then we get scared and we run. And we don't even go back to maintain a constant threat. So right now, this Zarya is thinking, shit, I've got to deal with all the threat coming from up here, and now this bastard is coming around here that I can't chase down because he can just go up here. If you go up here, okay, and then we just drop back down, and we just keep shelling from that angle. We keep pressure on the Ana. Then the Zarya has pulled their attention in two directions at once. People are dealing with two sides at once, two threats at once. Instead, we spend a couple of seconds just trying to reposition to get back to a McCree that the soldier and D.Va deal with anyway. And we managed to catch Ana out somehow by some miracle because she gets that low. And they've taken the point. We evade. We should be looking to re-engage. Drop down in front of the healers. There's no harm in it. The healers will spot you. Generally pick you back up. There we go. Be very careful about doing this. This is where like the Genji meme comes from. If you stand up here and say, I require healing, chances of you getting healed are pretty low. If I'm playing Ana, I can tell you exactly what this Ana is thinking. So Ana is thinking, yes, Genji, that's nice, but this person also needs healing. This person who's over here also needs healing. I need to be focusing on what they're doing as well. I need to maybe be checking on what the Mercy's doing. And if you think about the directions this Ana has to look after, it's like all of it. And up here at one, up here towards us. Coming out of the screen. Like she's trying to see in all these different directions. If we just drop down in front of her, and sometimes this is dirty, but I do occasionally do this as Genji's, is I'll intentionally drop down, block the line of sight of the Ana to get a free heal, and then jump out the way. Just to very quickly get that single top off. It can backfire horribly, but it can sometimes work. And we drop down, we get healed. Surprise, surprise. Then we start peeling around. We should be looking for an opportunity to do something here. They're purple. Like, this is a great time to start going aggressive. Okay, we're starting to hunt down a target. This McCree is extremely vulnerable. He hasn't noticed us yet. He should pay the price. Down he goes. Okay. Oh, we're just so scared. Like, if you think about where this soldier's looking, like this soldier here, he's looking over here. He thinks that there's still a threat coming from this direction. The only really annoying thing for us right now is that there's a Lucio. Red is not useful here. The only really annoying thing for us right now is that there is a Lucio stood here on the point, right? Because if that Lucio wasn't there, we could dive this soldier with impunity. The Zarya will be irritating, but we could probably kill them in time. We get a good lucky headshot there on the Ana. And I'm honestly surprised we don't go and engage the Ana more, but this McCree just... no brain. No brain! Doesn't turn around, dies, soldier goes in, gets an ultimate and cleans everything up. And we could just go on and punish. And now suddenly we start coming alive. Once people start getting low, we start coming alive. We start confirming all the kills and scooping everything up. And I think mechanically, in terms of like our ability to execute combos and especially execute a finishing blow, is fine. It's our ability to start causing those situations to arise on our own, which is the big problem. Okay, they have a Farah. That's a slight issue for us. Farah's an odd target where we have to really commit a lot of resources to do something. They dropped the beat though. This is a big opportunity for us. And I would be thinking hard about Dragon Blade right now because that's their big Dragon Blade counter. We're going to go for it, and we got powered up as well. I noticed that we don't really seem to check where our Ana is. Like, this is a good opportunity, by the way, just to make sure that you are in the Ana's line of sight. Is that her on the high ground? To our left? That's her right there. Okay. It's on the high ground. I don't know if that was seen or not. But just making sure that you are in line of sight of that is important. In a situation like this, deflect. Hold the deflect button. Why hold the deflect button? Surely that Zarya is just going to left click us to death. No, not with an Ana healing us. You notice our health. Watch our health bar. Notice how hard we are to kill until we get burst. We're not dying in this situation. We get the Soldier 76. He might have got his ult refunded there. The sleep dart is fucking godly by their Ana, but just hold deflect and you will survive this 100%. And you force the Zarya into doing something, and the Zarya could easily, like, you will be surprised how often Zaryas do stuff like this. In the Zarya's mind, it's the Dragon Blade plus the Nano Boost, so it's basically trading two ultimates for one. So saying, I got solo grabbed, lol, you are the biggest threat to their team. So the solo grab, it clearly worked. They still have the point. Like, it's clearly value. This is a good opportunity for us to really punish this soldier. Good. And the reason why that was such a big opportunity is we have Ana behind us. So we can just push on him. And even if we didn't get that deflect, we can just engage hard on this soldier. Make sure that we are between Ana and the soldier. And yeah, we can just punish that. Fine with us spending a little bit of time hunting this Farah. Also, I want to mention, do you have like, whoever this is, if you're in the chat. I'm going to have some coffee. If that gets cancelled by the end of Dragon Blade, though, it does. Yes. But he would have still got the deflect for, like, Dragon Blade wasn't being cancelled, I think, by the time he was standing back up. But, yeah, anyway, sorry, I looked over at chat. If you have global... If you have Dolby Atmos on, because to me, when I was listening to this, it's like, surely that Farah sounds like she's above. Maybe it's just the recording? Like, I had a really hard time trying to place that Farah. It turns out she's actually, like, under this bridge, which is strange. Honestly, I'm happy with us doing this because we're actually being proactive. We're actually forcing stuff to happen. We're forcing this Farah to be uncomfortable, and Soldier gets the kill on her as a result. Because she had to move and had to expose herself, and then Soldier goes and does something. And so we're forcing opportunities. Just a free Ana, I guess. And now we can make the soldier uncomfortable. Even if we don't kill him, we can displace him, or we can cause something else for something to happen. So we're being active. And the difference between what we're doing now and what we were doing before is, like, really obvious to me. Which is, last time, in the previous round, we were literally, like, the equivalent of what we were doing last round, we'd be sat over here just watching, waiting for the team to push in. Or we'd be stood up here watching and waiting for the team to push in. Now, team is pushing in, and we're going in already causing things to happen, making this Farah hella uncomfortable. This Farah knows that we're here. She has to move. She has to dodge. She jumps out into the open. Soldier 76 runs in. She's out in the middle of frickin' nowhere. Gets killed. And even though it says Soldier 76 on the overlay, on the kill feed, that was partially our kill. And it wasn't even that we did much damage, but we forced her to reposition, we forced her into doing things, we forced her to respond to us, and therefore she couldn't respond to everything happening to her at once. We were putting pressure on her and she had to do something. Same with the Soldier 76 here. If we weren't up here, just fighting the Soldier 76, and on a one-on-one, if our soldier wasn't helping us, odds are this soldier does fine against us. He's got heal field, he just has to gun us down. If we don't deflect well, he can easily win this fight. But if he was just up here and wasn't getting shot at, he could be just returning fire to our Soldier 76, he could kill him, he could be shooting down on the point, killing our dudes, he could be doing anything he wants. But now that we're pressuring him, he's no longer the cool guy on the high ground, he's the cool guy getting mobbed by people and getting killed. Now we're starting to be more and more proactive, the soldier comes in, he can fire off his ults to help clean up. We should be pressuring this. I don't understand why we're letting this area go. This area is low, on high charge, we should be finishing this off. If Soldier 76 is over there, who's finishing that Zarya off? Well, we're Genji, that's our job. Don't let a high charge Zarya ever get away. She is incredibly valuable to get a kill on. And okay, we managed to retake it. Reestablish on high ground, having a peek around, looking for the Farah. Diva's hunting it down. We go for the cutoff, Diva gets a kill. Feels good, man. We stop to have a little chat. He could be doing stuff during those couple of seconds. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for praising teammates, but we could have been over here a couple of seconds earlier, and I think Diva would have preferred that. A relatively minor thing. And if we were here a couple of seconds earlier, you notice that like we're chasing their team incredibly slowly now. We could have been in this Anna's asshole this entire time, but we weren't. Feels bad, man. Easy kill there, easy kill for the Diva. Sights is out, so we want to be a bit careful. Just be very careful when moving that way. Again, just move towards the Mercy. Mercy's getting destroyed. She does manage to keep herself alive thanks to the new res. Free Lucio kill. There we go, Anna gets the confirm.
My ultimate is almost ready.
Feels good, man.
My ultimate is ready.
Who's Steve? What do you have a Steve in what? And Steve is their Lucio player on the enemy team. Why is there a Steve? What is this Steve? Steve. He's sitting there being all Steve and stuff. She's giving me like Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged flashbacks as well. Good lord, that's one hell of a reference. Okay, yeah, stay the fuck away from that Soldier 76. If he ults, then we might want to get into his face. We do want to do something. So what we kind of do, what we choose to do is, okay, we spot, there's a guy over this way, there's a fire up there, and then Soldier gets the nano boost. And we choose to hide. And so they go all proactive, Fire is in position to get that. We can now counter swing. Goes good, man. Let's confirm on this area. We don't confirm on this area. We get a little bit sort of panicky and indecisive, which is a shame. I'd say the decision to hide is okay, relatively. I would have liked to see maybe just deflect and run at him a little bit and then go and hide, just to try and buy as much time as possible where he can't do anything, but you're trusting that Diva might be able to do something with that. The reason why I was considering very briefly, should we, because we spot the Roadhog and Farah coming in this way, should we go for the Roadhog and Farah, but that's not a good decision, because if we do that, like if we dash after this Farah, and the soldier uses Tac Visor, we're just dead. And so we can't really afford to do that. We could have dropped back the other way, maybe, and just stayed over here. And we spot the Farah, okay, there's a threat over there. And when this goes off, I will probably be, yeah, hightailing it towards the point the other way, just to go and contest the point. Because Diva can deal with this. Like, we have a Diva specifically for this kind of thing. When we try and recover it, we use the Dragon Blade. We get a good swing there. Following that Zarya would have been more valuable. There we go. So it's a bit unfortunate we don't get the full value off that. But I'm pretty sure it's enough as we start getting into the overtime. Now we just want to start setting up dashes. Good. Wait it out in the Zarya, good. Get the confirm. Punish him, kill him, feels good, man. There we go. Coffee feels good, man. So we'll very quickly watch you play the game for this one, but for this guy, for our nice man of feelings hurt, got his feelings hurt. He said to be brutal in his email. I'll just go over the email very quickly. And in the game with a 67 kill participation, but I think that makes it sound like I did a lot better than what I actually did, and I think it could be one thing. I think that could be one thing you could teach the viewers about. So when they get a high kill participation in their games, I don't think they carry the entire team on their shoulders. And actually, say in terms of like carry, we did okay. Like we did things when it mattered, and we were good at just cleaning stuff off. Cleaning stuff up. I say the Soldier 76 did a really good job of just being a good workhorse. I say the Winston started fucking up at a certain point. He was good at the start, and then just really started just going too aggro and jumping in a little bit too early on his own, which is a shame. He was just a bit like he was jumping in before the team could actually do anything, ourselves included. So it's partially on him, but it's partially on us and not being ready, because we're Genji, we could be ready super fast, and just not being proactive. D.Va's doing okay. Anna is doing a champion job, as all Annas do, and Mercy was doing a good job. Mercy actually did pretty well, keeping herself alive, getting some good reses. But yeah, I'd say the big thing was just being proactive in times when we're not snowballing and snowballing and snowballing and snowballing and snowballing. That's the big thing. Yeah, well done, Genji. I didn't think of much of you at the start, but good job. Like, we're really good at doing like the finishing phases of a fight, which is honestly like that's part of why you bring Genji. He's a good finisher, but we just don't ever set stuff up on our own. He also has a personal question for me. He also says, I wasn't in voice chat this game as I encountered some very toxic people in the previous games, and toxic players really affect the way I play. I really struggle to focus on the game and get them out of my head, especially if I play a class like Genji, but to compensate I try to use in-game voice commands. It's fair enough, and it sucks that this happens. But what I read into this statement is like, if I joined voice chat and someone said one thing negative, A, my game will plummet, and B, I might just lash out at them as well. So he's just trying to dodge toxicity himself, which is fair enough. That said, try and find a way to get back into voice chat as soon as you can, because Genji needs coordination, right? He's so much better when you are calling out dive targets, when you are working with Winston, when you are working with your team. You can do so much more. He's so much more powerful. It's a big part of playing Genji. So if you want to play a hero where you can just leave voice chat and just shoot at people, Soldier 76, you can do that pretty much on your own. Genji, you got to play with your team. Tracer, you got to play somewhat with your team. I'd say Genji needs it more. Any tank, you should be playing with your team. Supports, in general, you should be listening and watching your team. You generally are anyway. You should be doing some form of leadership role as well. And then stuff like McCree, Soldier, those are more self-serving. You can just do your own thing more and play off that more. But Genji, like any flanker and sniper as well, Hanzo, Widow, definitely works better when you're in voice comms. And finally, I have one personal question. Have you ever played TF2? If so, what did you like about it or not like? I can actually, let me go to my face while I load up the next game, and I'll load up this in the meantime. I played a lot of TF2. Like, not a ridiculous, you know, absolutely ridiculous volume of it, but I played a lot of it. Where are you, TF2? Team Fortress 2. Profile. Can I view my profile, can't I? Where is the option to do that? View forum? No, I don't want to do that. I want to view my profile. Community Hub, achievements. I don't know. View all achievements. It's just going to go to my profile. Records plus stats. There we go. So, am I going to get doxed if I do this? I don't think so. I don't think it works like that. So this is my TF2 profile. I played 250 hours of sniper. I played a lot of engineer somehow. I think it's just because you survive a long time in engineer. A lot of spy, a lot of scout, a lot of soldier. Basically, I'd play sniper until I could no longer get away with it, and then usually swap to scout or soldier. And then you just don't die much on engineer and spy, so you just tend to stay on them for a long time. Definitely played a lot of sniper. So yeah, otherwise, next game, okay. I played a lot of TF2. What did I like about it? I like the graphics, like the visuals. The original TF2, I think they really watered it down. I don't like the man economy. I think that ruined the game in a lot of ways and just diluted the purity of play. I think the purity of the original TF2 is just so much better. It makes so much more of a better game overall. So yeah. Otherwise, boom, next coaching video.